Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be making chili. So I'll show you the recipe that I use that everyone seems to like. Alright, so right now we have started with hamburger. This is 2 pounds, and then we're going to be using 1 pound of turkey as well. We're going to cook the hamburger first, and then we'll drain it. Once it's been drained, then we'll cook the turkey, and then we'll mix it back in. I always use at least 2 meats in my chili. I think it gives it that really good flavor that people like from a chili. Typically I use deer meat, either beef, buffalo, or another game animal like elk or antelope. I'm running low on deer because I haven't had a chance to go deer hunting much this year, so we're using just beef and turkey this time. Okay, so for this recipe, because this is a little bit larger than I normally do, using 3 pounds of meat this time instead of normally I use 2. So I'm going to use 2 onions. You can use sweet onions, red onions, Vidalia, whatever kind of onions you prefer. We just happen to have some red onions on hand, so that's what we're using this time. You definitely want to get these finely chopped. If you want to use a food processor, that's perfectly fine. But definitely want to get them chopped up while your meat's browning. Once you rinsed your meat, that's when you're going to put this back in after all the meat's been cooked. Alright, so we got our onions peeled. I'm not going to tell you the correct way, the not correct way to cut an onion, but this is the way I prefer to do it when I'm cooking this recipe. Don't have to be perfect. This isn't cookie show or anything, by all means. So there's the onion that we're going to use. Okay, so normally I use the already minced garlic you can get in your grocery store. We happen to have some fresh garlic, so I'm going to use 3 cloves, and then if it's not enough, we'll add more. I've never really messed with fresh garlic that much, so I'm usually using the minced, so this is totally new to me. So if you're used to using minced garlic, fresh garlic, you're probably sitting there watching me chop this going, oh my god, he's doing a horrible job. Well, give me a break, the first time using it. So that was good. With this one. Alright. So we'll call that good. If you do like using the minced garlic over fresh, typically I use a big heaping tablespoon. So, measured however you want to. So the turkey's not making a whole lot of grease, so I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to put our onions and our garlic in. Alright, so I had to do a battery swap. And like I was saying, because the turkey doesn't produce a whole lot of grease, we just added in the onions and garlic. We're we're going to start mixing it around. Notice the turkey. There we go. Notice there the turkey's still a little pretty pink. I actually want it to be that way because this is actually going to continue cooking in the pot for another 4 hours. I actually like, my preferred method is to put this in the crock pot and let it slow cook all day for a minimum of 8 hours. You can do it on your stove for at least 3 hours. I would prefer more than that. So we're going to add the hamburger back in. And to show you, here's the hamburger. It's kind of out of focus. There we go. You can see the hamburger, I did not cook it all the way through either. Did that for the same kind of reason, because it is going to cook all that extra time. My chili, I like adding beans to it. I know that people say that's a northern thing, but and I'm from the south, but I like beans in mine. So we've got a can of chili beans. And here's the one thing that I do different that most people don't when it comes to adding in canned vegetables. I don't drain my canned vegetables. So here's a can of pinto beans. A can of red beans. I've found over the years that by not draining, you get a little bit better flavor with the chili. Another can of red beans. You could add black beans, dark kidney beans, light kidney beans, whatever kind of beans you like using. We're going to add some tomato to it, and this is actually a large jar. This is a 1 pound and 12 ounce jar of diced tomatoes. Typically here, you're going to add beef broth. I don't have any, so I'm going to add just water. I'm going to use the chili bean can to measure out some water in here. And since we typically just add 1 can of beef broth, we're just going to add 1 can of water. And then we'll kind of mix all this in real quick before we actually add our seasoning. That looks good. Alright, now we're going to add our seasoning. Seasoning. For this much, we're going to use 3/4 of a cup. And I like to use McCormick's. Where you at? Here we go. I like to use McCormick's original chili seasoning. This has the best flavor. I don't have to worry about mixing, getting all my spices perfect. This is super simple for the size of the batch we're using. The package says you want to use 3/4 of a cup. So that's what we're going to mix in. We're going to give this a good stir. This actually looks like it may need just a little bit more water. Well, no, maybe not. We'll just keep an eye on it. Alright. So that is pretty much the chili recipe. So what you'll do now is bring this basically to a bubble. Once you see your very first bubble pop on here, you don't have to have a consistent boil or anything, just bubbles popping. You're going to turn it down on like simmer or maybe 2 on your stove, just a low kind of temperature. Stir it occasionally, but just let it finish cooking that way. It's going to finish cooking your meat. It's going to cook all those beans through, and it's going to marinate all together. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So, very, very simple recipe. It does take a very long time to make by the way I make it, because I like it to have that time cooking together. And I've actually been told by a lot of people that the way I cook it, if you, after it's cooked for either 3 to 4 hours on the stove, 8 hours in the crock pot, you can take it, put it in the fridge and cover it for 24 hours, and I've been told that the next day when it's reheated on the stove or reheated in the crock pot, that it actually tastes better that second day around. So, something you can make in deer camp really easily. Make it first thing in the morning before you go hunting, or the night before, put it on low, let it cook. Makes a real good, easy meal. It's filling, and then when you're done with it and you're serving it, put cheese, chips, however you like to eat it, over a hot dog, however you like it. So. Alright, well, I appreciate you watching. If you like watching video games on YouTube as well, I've started playing Hunter Call of the Wild. I've created a new channel. It's called Cane Creek Deer Ranch Gaming. Would love for you guys to go and watch those channels if you're into that kind of thing as well. If you're not a big video gamer, or you're a big hunter and you want something to do outside of hunting season, or even at night when you can't be hunting because it's dark out, and you like playing video games, definitely check that game out. I've really been enjoying it. It's the most realistic hunting game I've played. The animals are really alert on there, and you really have to, it's almost like you're out hunting for real. So I've been enjoying that. At night, since I haven't been able to go hunting, I've been posting videos on the other channel. So, if you haven't watched that other channel, or you're interested in that, I would really appreciate your support. And thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. And hope you have a wonderful Christmas.